Good morning. Congratulations, you made it to another day. God is real and He's true. He's the King of Kings, Lord of Lords. Amen. So I'm making, I'm getting in here and I'm still gonna make my content because it's the explanation of why I'm working at McDonald's and who I am. To understanding my story. My story, um, for many years with the targeting and narc abuse, it has weighed on my jobs, meaning that the whole goal of it was for me not to work. Now, a year, let's see, 2004, I did have employment, and it wasn't as long. I mean, I think I stayed there a month, going on 2 months. I don't know, but I know it wasn't enough to do anything with then. And so that's where I felt like, hey, I defeated what was trying to come against me because I was actually finding employment here, and I kind of figured that something was trying to keep me from working. And the that's one of the things when trouble have started, and including when I was married and my ex-husband got sick, um, that I always just knew I could throw myself into work. No matter what I had to do, including getting them to school and doing tending around the house, I would throw myself in work, with no question, because what had happened with him at that time, I couldn't get a hold of his paycheck. It was time to pay rent, and he had an episode, and I couldn't get his check. And I'm saying, I'm his wife, and they was just like, we don't care. It's not him, so we don't care, basically. So that's when I said, well, I'm gonna have to jump in there and work because I wasn't working at the time, and so that's when I just started picking up random jobs. I didn't care, I just needed it to be enough, so I can pay my rent. And I held it down. I I think I worked 3 jobs, and it wasn't really like full jobs. One of them was full. One of them I was waiting. It was like a seasonal. One of them was a seasonal job, and then the other two was pretty much like one temp service, and then the other one was a regular paying job that I was waiting on. It was like a time frame, like we ain't starting yet, but this is where we starting, and I kept up the momentum. I was tired, but I kept up the momentum of coming in and being there on time and still doing what they asked me to do. And so once my ex had recuperated, I didn't, I'm like, "You sure?" It was like, I don't, and I said, well, maybe I'll hold on to one. That way nothing, this won't happen again. Because I ain't gonna keep throwing myself out there like this. So that was the most time I had so many jobs, and then the targeting appeared, and then because I noticed it was trying to come on my job, and then it followed me when I felt, because I started seeing my ex neighbors come in there, and I thought that was strange, but I kept seeing the targeting, and I said maybe I just need to get another job because I didn't understand what was going on. Nobody was really saying anything to me, but I just seen like the hand signals and so forth, and um, But I mean, I'm just saying that I just would just jump in there and get a job, and and that's kind of why I was waiting on something else, and you know, with the targeting, I don't know if it's the targeting, and that's what they do. They try to make it. Oh no, it's not targeting. Oh no, you know, you just simple things that you didn't do, and that's why you ain't working here. So I mean, you know, I'm looking at the time frame. I'm saying I don't wasted like 2 months, you know, because here they are saying, you know, you gotta wait. You know, you gotta wait till the next month, and I say what? Yeah, you gotta wait till the next month. And I said it was already 2 months, and wasn't even my fault. Well, one of the questionnaires had kicked off on my because I did it on my cell phone. I was right in the place where I was going to work, and it my kicked me off the page. And I was trying to tell them, and they said, "Well, that's how it go. You know, you just have to wait till next month." And you know, I'm calling, you know, the headquarters and saying, "No, I don't think so. You know, I know that you know, well, certain things that I could do, and I still would be able to be employed." But you know, I don't know if they, you know, because I said I wasn't trying to do management. I don't want to do management. I just want to get in and work. You know what I mean? And they said, "Oh no, no, you applied for it." And so it was just like, you know what, you know. I just went on and I said, you know, I realized I had visitations with my kids, and so you know, I said, well, why don't I just see if I can get here, at McDonald's, and you know, I jumped in there and I was like, you know, like I had my interview like right away. And like I ain't never seen that. You know, everything was like boom, boom, boom. You just gotta wait. Just gotta wait. You know. And then I was like, oh God. So then my waiting time appeared, and then, you know, I stayed on them. You know, that's what I do because the enemy will try to do things and try to discourage you, and then you know, a lot of times I don't want to seem like Debo. And so you know, you're like, okay, because is this gonna happen or what? You know what I mean? You want to. So anyway, today, yesterday was my first day. Let's just go there. It was my first day, and you know, the training, retraining, because I've worked there before, but it's different. It's definitely different for 2025. So, um, you know, I figured I'd just start here. You know, I mean, me and personally, and considering that I'm the type of person that I'm trying to, you know, back off of the food thing, and it's like I don't know if I really want to work here because you know there's food and everything, and you know, you just say okay because this is about me earning the income, you know, doing it for the kids. So that's where I just went ahead and started, and you know, let someone of younger train me, and I'm saying okay, you know, I don't mind that at all, you know. So it's the understanding of jobs and what I needed to do. And that was my first day, and I just was like, woo, my goodness, McDonald's have changed. You know what I mean? Included the prices, because I'm saying, wow, is that why they were suggesting in the news that a lot of your fast food places were gonna have like a payment plan? You know, I think I read that a month ago or two, that they were saying that you could now get your value meals on a payment plan if you can't afford them. So I see why. You know, it ain't, you know, Yeah, everything is like wow. So yeah, I was my day, and I'm coming right on back, to do these things, and it take a big humbleness to get in there, and then you working with younger people, and I mean there's different age groups, and you kind of feel like okay, wow, but I'm saying hey, you know, you know, I realized when I was getting the higher ones, and you know, that's what something that's what something you don't know. Those who've been targeted, and you got somebody that's saying, because I realized, I thought I was gonna get this job, and I'm talking about like other jobs that I had set up to do, and part of targeting, I gotta tell you, those who've been targeted, I figure, if you got somebody that's saying, hey, she's a targeted individual, and so that there's some people that'll come in and say she's a targeted individual, and so I should be able to get her job. So you got somebody sitting there that you say, okay, I qualify and everything's in order, and you're saying, you're saying, I thought I was gonna get that job. That's what I be saying. I thought I was gonna get that job. But if you have someone sitting there saying that you're a target individual or extremist, they they there's someone that's saying I want her job or his job, and so you get booted out of there because somebody else was wanting your job, and so that's where I said, what if I work at McDonald's? Because it's pretty, anybody want to come work at McDonald's? So someone literally could be sitting there waiting to take your job. And you're saying, but I'm qualified, and they say, well, if they pay me $1,000 a day, yeah. But there's certain policies and restrictions on certain jobs, like I said, that'll stop that. And so is McDonald's on? I don't know. We gonna find out, but usually anybody can get in at McDonald's, and so that's where my brain just said, let me just see if McDonald's, because there's more room if they want to come on through. You know what I mean? So when you're trying to do your best you can, and you get shunned out of jobs because there's people, and I can imagine that with the people I knew. Yeah, let me come up in here, and as soon as I put my application or the biggie thing, as soon as you buy that wine and creep up behind, they'll snatch my job there. So I said, let's just work at McDonald's. Yeah, and so that's what I did here. I'm not letting anybody intimidate me on the job scene as well. Whatever I can get, but I realize time is wasted, and I do love my children, and so months are getting cold, and it's just about humbling yourself and getting in there and in your income, and so it's friendly faces and whatnot, nothing out the way of the same old, you know what I mean, you know. Yeah, there's some drive through activity, but other than that, I don't care. I'm just here to do my job and focus on that. So this is a big, everybody else Or probably look at me and say, "Are you, that's all you can get?" And they don't realize this is a big hurdle for me because I've been trying to get something. When I finally realized, like I said, some people come down here, and when the people who are from your other city or wherever you were located at, that if they were targeting you on a job, then they come down here too as well to say, well, I'm gonna be trying to fill out an application and snatch up her job or his job. I mean, that was what was going on with me. That they had paid people to come down here, act like they want to work, get the job, and probably just quit just to take the position. So, I'm just letting people know that does happen. So, so this is a breakthrough for me that I got in, and I actually got in and worked because usually it's something different, you know. Usually, oh, we already filled position. Usually, so I never get in, or you know what I mean, or they set me up to make me think, oh yeah, I'm about to be working soon, and so I'm saying this, and people think I'm burning bridges because they thinking, oh, you just saying something just to get some help or whatever, and I'm like, yeah, well, I do need some help, but I don't gotta lie about it. And so you saying, okay, so you get a job yet? No, they said something different. You gotta read this sob story. So McDonald's is the winner here today. I mean, even if whatever it is, I was in there and I worked. I got some check. I got a check coming. So that's what I was saying. The blessing was to me, and that I feel like I accomplished something that I couldn't achieve. And that's what I keep saying about targeting narcissist abuse, because you said, there ain't nothing to step up in here, get no daggone job at McDonald's. Something must be wrong with you. Yeah, I was being targeted, gang stalked. So what normal and easy to you is of a milestone to me. It was a milestone to me. They were really, with the program that was created, was keeping me from employment. It was all about me being homeless and staying there because of the drug trafficking, human trafficking, and sex trafficking that is dealt with Freemason, or a occultic group, wanting me to say, nope, if you ain't trying to get in with us, you ain't working. And it's been it's going on years now that I got my foot in the door. You know what I mean? And so, it's a matter of trying to beat out that demon that was trying to hinder me. You know what I mean? Because I said that they had these people that they come out there and they slander you. And sometimes a lot of them is your family members or those who are of my family, friends and associates. Because, I mean, it just shows that realistically, I had a lot of people who didn't like me. And a lot of times, especially when it come on the workforce, I'm not a personable person. I just, I do what they hire me to do. I just come in, you know, do what I'm supposed to be doing, and get out of there. I don't want to hear nothing else. Because they didn't understand that if I was married and I had my ex-husband that was schizophrenic. So, I had to do things and, pick up the kids. I got so many things that I got to do, and I got to, wasn't personable with other people. I mean, I say, hey, how you doing, whatever. But, literally, yeah, I shut people out. And that was kind of me, because I have my own problems. I still got things going on, and it seems like sometimes it's just people want me to hear theirs. They didn't want to hear mine, and so that's where I was like, oh, I don't like her. You know what I mean? And so this is a milestone for me. That, yeah, even 16-year-olds, 15-year-olds can get in just as quick, and they laughing at me, but you know, but when you have that stigma on you, it's tough. It's tough to get in. It's tough to and so I fear, some pretty good positions. Let me just boss down on this job. Boss down on this job and see what person, and I know the kind of people like that. That's where you have to understand who it is that's coming against you. They ain't want to work. They ain't want to work at no McDonald's. They think you're dealing with a narcissist. They are not want to work at no McDonald's. That's beneath them. So I had to kind of think, where is it I could work that they're not gonna want to work? McDonald's. Nope, they ain't trying to tote no fries around. They ain't taking nobody's order because they think they better than everybody. So that gotta work for me, I guess. Nobody wanted to come and take that job. So that's where I'm at. I ain't gonna tear it too long. I'm just, excited about it, because a few years back I just be like, embarrassed in the mug, like, oh my goodness. So it brings a confidence to me to say, you know what, I can do all things through Christ. You know what I mean? You know, let keep repeating that Bible scripture. Is it Psalm 73, I believe? From north to south, to east and west, that promotion doesn't come from man. Man is all man, and God has the final say so. And that's what the enemy be trying to do, break your confidence. And so it did. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so what am I going to do for a living? You know what I mean? And so, a lot of times, I think there's some other things. I'll just keep it to myself as the reason why I got into McDonald's, because, there's another reason why, too. And that's a shame. That things have to be some sort of way to get in. So, I'll use that. I use that too. So blessings to everybody who come into the chat. How you doing? I'm sorry I didn't see you. Train on my focus. So you think that it stops here? No, it doesn't. Because Tanya, you're still the go getter. And right now I take it from here, because this is truly a blessing to me. I'm not saying anything bad about it. That this is where I need to be, and I'm gonna focus and do what I'm supposed to be doing here. And that's all that I can do. With that. Anybody want to hate on me? I don't care, cause shoot, I feel like I won't say I won a lottery or nothing, but it's just like, okay, I got in. And so when you do that, and understand the different people who come in there and work, we're a team. We're a team, and I'll tell you, yeah, some things are out there. Because I'll just say in the drive-through, the devil just can't resist. And so you just continue what you're doing. And thank the Lord, for this to happen. Because I don't want to do I don't want to do anything but serve Yahweh, you know? You know, I mean, it's hard to actually, be come from the world, and then you're trying to do everything just right. You're trying, and you got temptation and saying, you do this, you ain't gotta work no more. Or if you get with me, and you're saying that's quite tempting, even if it's not, and you say you're looking at, how am I gonna do this? How am I gonna do that? And then you just have to put full faith in the Most High and say that this could be done. This could be done. That no, yep. I just have to pass that up. It sounds good, but I'm gonna have to pass that up, and that's strange for somebody like me. And, and then that's how some people think women are anyway. Just say, hey, that movie, it was a movie a long time ago, Indecent Proposal. You know what I'm saying? Because anybody was like, you are crazy. You turn down. Yeah, I would. Because I love the Lord so much, for what he has done for me. And it really, you really got to really love him to say, you turn some things down. You know what I mean? And sometimes it hurt. Sometimes it hurt like, God, what would you disown me, Lord, if I would have said, you know what I mean? You wonder, because this is really me. This is really me saying, you know what? Um, I'm willing to turn things down just to, you know, just to do the will of the Lord. And it's not easy on everything because I stumble on some things, okay? But I repent. But I'm saying, like I could easily get off these streets real quick, and Satan be right there tempting you. Say, well, and you see it and you say, no, nope, I'm gonna keep this path. And I think that's where you have arrived with the Most High, because even some people kind of like him. We can turn our head to things. No, we are gonna stand in with the Lord and believe that He gonna do a miracle. You know, um, it's tough, and it's just it's a wager that you gotta put down. Say that you love Him because He loves us. And it seems, right when maybe I should give in. You're almost there, and that's where you say, oh, okay, because something must be coming through, because we can't back down. And it's a lot of things that you just say, okay, I'll just get with someone that had a lot of money, and just you want to say those things because you say, I got to get my kids. You know what I mean? So when you going and doing things and the Most High, and you say, no, because I gotta prove that my God is good, and you know what I mean. But God's saying, you know, He gave me that 50 Cent song. If even if even if you work at Burger King, he said 50. That's what 50 Cent said, but he said even you work at McDonald's. And I'm like, yeah. But it's cool though, you know what I mean? It's cool, you know? And so that's what's where I reside right now. And that's that. Um that's cool to me. So that was the milestone, Teddy just don't stop. You know what I mean? Because that's who she is. She keeps doing the most because she just said, well,